Good evening. I'd like to call the October meeting of the Wyndham Raymond School District Board of Directors to order, please. Mr. Prince?
Kate Bricks.
Here.
Eric Colby. Jenny Cummins.
Here.
Dawn Dillon.
Here.
Marge Gavoni.
Here.
Pete Hensler. Here. Anna Kenny.
Here.
Kate Lavier. Kate Lavier. Scott McLean. Here. And we have a new student member, Danielle Hall.
Here. Will you all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, are there any adjustments to the agenda, Mr. Prince? None. Okay, and any public input? Public. Okay, I'd like to have a motion to go into executive session, please.
I move to enter into executive session to discuss RSU 14's emergency management plan as presented by Bill Hanson, Director of Facilities, Property Services, and Special Projects.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? No? All in favor? We're out of executive session, thank you. And I would like to have a motion to approve the RSU 14 emergency management plan.
I move to approve the RSU 14 Wyndham Raymond School District's emergency management plan for the 2018-2019 school year.
Second. Okay, any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Could I have a nomination, actually, first for the annual delegate to the MSBA Association?
Who's going? You can't nominate him.
I nominate Marge Gavoni.
Second.
Okay. Would you accept the nomination, Marge?
Why not?
Okay.
They did it last year.
Then okay.
They did the year before.
Okay. All right. So I would like to have a motion to approve Marge.
I move to approve the appointment of Marge Gavoni as the delegate to the Delegate Assembly of the Maine School Board Association.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor? Okay. So thank you, Marge, for being our...
Oh, yes. Just so welcome. While we're on this one, did you want to?
If you give me a second, I will say it. In your board packet, you have some information about the resolutions that the MSBA would like to enact or want some information on. Next, if you'll look at them for next week or next time we will be giving head nods, our ideas about where we'd like to go to Marge, and she'll vote.
The majority.
Yes, she will vote when she gets there. So just to give you that information about what's in your packet, so you'll have that.
Will we be voting on the resolutions separately? Have there 1, 2,
No.
3,
Yes.
Well,
5, 6, 7 of them? Or?
Yes, you have to decide whether you want me to vote yay or nay when I go there, and they do them individually.
Right. So
and then
yes.
it'll be consensus of the board on each one.
Do you remember we had this discussion last year about this because there was some disagreement about.
Yeah, I don't remember voting on them separately last year.
We didn't have this many. I think there was only
two or
like
three.
2 or 3. It was a very small number.
Okay. So could I have a report of the secretary to approve the minutes?
I hope you read them, Pete.
I did. I'm just waiting for a motion.
Oh, I said, could I
I move to approve the revised minutes of the September 5th, 2018 meeting.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Can we? What was revised?
If I remember correctly, I think it was who was there and who wasn't. Or it was the numbers below. I'm trying to remember. Do you remember?
I think it was that somebody came in late.
All right. I have a question.
Yes, sir?
Did somebody really oppose the minutes? On item 11, report of the secretary approved the revised minutes of the June 27th, 2018 meeting. We have 8 in favor and 1 opposed.
I abstained.
The one below it says abstained. Yeah, so the number 1 says opposed. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
It should be abstained because that was me. I wasn't there for that meeting.
Okay,
Yes,
so.
you abstained one and I abstained the other.
Oh,
I abstained the August 15th.
I didn't notice that.
okay, so
So
do we need to have a revised?
Or can we do it while we're here? I don't know. Parliamentarian?
We can make. I make a motion to amend the minutes of September 15, number 11, which would be the minutes of the June 27th, 2018 meeting to reflect that it is 8 in favor and 1 abstention.
Point of order. I don't think we can do that until we voted on the minutes. So we already have a motion on the floor. We can't have a. Are you? You're doing
I'm
an
making
amendment. Okay,
to that
that's fine.
motion.
Okay.
Do I second?
Anybody can.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Now we vote on the minutes.
Okay.
The motion, the original.
All right. Now let's have a motion on the minutes. Oh, we have the motion on the minutes. Now let's have a vote on the minutes. So all those in favor of the minutes as amended as. Okay. All those opposed or abstaining? Okay. Thank you. All right.
Did you guys get all that?
Okay, now.
It's on video.
Okay. Now are we? Okay, now I'm a little confused, and I know that. Did we just approve all the minutes, or we just did approve the
We just-
September 8th?
Just
September 5th.
with
September 5th. Okay. Now could I have a motion to approve the minutes of September 12th?
I move to approve the minutes of the September 12th, 2018 meeting.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries. Could I have a motion about the minutes of September 19th? Please. Someone.
I move to approve the minutes of the September 19th, 2018 meeting.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Could we have committee reports, please?
The Finance Committee has not met recently.
Okay.
Facilities Committee met. I can't remember what the date it was. It was 2 weeks ago. And I plan on sending those meeting minutes out tomorrow, but we actually had a tour of several areas around the campus. First place we went to, we were taking a look at some of the lighting that Bill is looking into for the high school classrooms. They are changing out the traditional flip a switch LED to dimmable lighting, which actually looks to possibly save the district a fair amount of money. and it will actually, there's sensors on the lights so that they detect how much natural light is outside, how much light will actually be needed to illuminate the classroom. There was 2 separate switches, which he actually purposely placed across the hall from one another so that teachers could actually go from one classroom to the other to see what they liked and what they didn't like. There are rebates involved with this project. So I just want to clarify a couple of things with Bill before I send those out. So that was one thing that we looked at. From there, we went and took a look at the new Katahdin layout in the high school. It seems as though that they have adapted quite well. The only thing that I really saw that is probably going to need to be addressed is the fact that there is one bathroom for about 35 people. So I think that that is probably going to be an issue further on down the line. But it looks like everything is transitioning pretty nicely over there. From there, we went and took a look at the boilers. And so there are 3 boilers in this particular room, in the boiler room. And one boiler is 100% operational. It is the smallest boiler. The other 2 boilers, if you think of them being put together like a stack of Legos, you got 9 Legos in a row, and it's Lego number 7 that is cracked. So there's really no way to replace that one individual piece. You really got to replace the entire thing. I was just having a conversation with Bill, and he is looking into going to where was it? A manufacturing plant or a place where they actually build boilers, so that we can kind of take a look at different options that we may be looking into. So I did ask Bill to keep me updated on that. I am going to try and go with you guys on that. I do think it's pretty important. So as of right now, that one single boiler can potentially heat the high school. However, the problem starts when the temperatures start to drop to the single digits or even the teens. When it gets really, really cold, that's when we are going to have some significant issues. So this actually needs to be addressed very shortly. And so once Bill has some recommendations as to how he wants to move forward, and then he will present them at that time. So that's what I have for information as far as the boilers go. From there, we walked up and we took a look at the new portable. But Sand and I ended up taking a detour, and we went through the main entrance to the middle school. And if you are not familiar with the main entrance of the middle school, the office was down the hall. So you walked in and you had to speak into a speaker, and then you walked probably about, I would say, 50 yards or so before you hit the main office. Now, as everybody in that school is now calling her, President Hall, is right at the front entrance of the window, the main door. So when you walk in, all visitors, Debbie Hall has a direct visual of that person every time that they are walking up to the main entrance. So I think that the reconfiguration of that main corridor breezeway is significantly improved. And then we went down to see the new portable for Field Allen. The way they got that set up, it's actually really great, because you walk in, and other than the carpeting and the smell, you really don't realize that you're in a portable. It's really an extension of that entire building. There is carpeting that transitions, which is nice because it catches all the snow and slush and stuff like that from the kids walking in from outside. The classrooms are big, they're spacious. So it came out real well. And Bill was really kind of sweating there for a little bit because the permits were running quite late, but he was able to get everything at the very last minute. And I believe it was just this week I happened to notice that the breezeway in between the main building and the end cap of that portable now have finished their exterior siding. So when we first took a look at that, when we first toured that portable, it was just the Tyvek paper over the top of it. It didn't have the siding. Now the siding is complete, finished, and it really does look really nice. It came out good. And then from there, I actually had a tour of the treatment plant. And that was quite exciting. I don't know if you've ever been to a treatment plant, but it's kind of awesome. It's exactly what you'd expect. But one really interesting thing that I learned is that we are the only school district east of the Mississippi to have our own treatment plant. So that is cool. Big brown. Super excited about that.
I can tell.
So anyway, did I miss anything? Okay, that's what we have from facilities. Oh, and I'm sorry, shared vehicle maintenance facility. I took a drive down through there today, this afternoon, as a matter of fact. And that building is actually going up quite smoothly. I take a look at it on almost a daily basis, but I actually drove down in through there. They got the trestles up for the front office part of the building, and that's what's going to give it that A-frame look. Those are sitting on the ground right now. It looks like a lot of the steel is in place. The exterior wall between the offices and the bays is starting to go up. So everything is progressing along, from what I can tell, pretty smoothly. So there is still that timeline question that, it's always the finishing touches that sometimes takes the longest. But, from a standing on the street looking at it standpoint, everything looks like it's going up pretty quick. What's that? Adult ed. Oh, yes, thank you. The adult ed portable, the permanent portable, is not in yet. That permanent portable is anticipated to be here in October, finished in November. Okay. So they had the temporary portable that's up there right now. It is a single wide portable. It's not very big, but it is at least temporary, satisfying the needs of the administration for adult ed. So, but the site is actually quite large. When the permanent portable does come in, it is going to be a triple wide. So it's going to be a big building. To just kind of give you, a comparative, the Field Allen portable is a double wide. So this one will be quite large. There'll be enough for, I can't even remember how many classrooms we're going to be going in that. There's 2 of them in there? Okay. So, but the site is completely ready to rock and roll. So as soon as the building gets there, they'll be able to hook up. So.
Great. Okay. And did you have a meeting with them?
I've had no meeting.
Okay. All right.
Here. School related.
Okay. Kate?
We have been talking about the grading and reporting policy. You have had that presentation a week or so ago. And that chart that was presented to you is going to be embedded in this policy. We currently don't have a grading and reporting. So this is going to be a nice policy to have that's going to be informative for teachers, students, and parents. We're looking on draft 5. And we will be meeting next week. And in conjunction with that, we'll also be discussing graduation policy, that a revision that we've been talking about for some time. We're on draft 4 of that, and hopefully we can finalize both of those and bring those before you for a first reading. Additionally, we've had some discussion about a new policy. We have a sexual abuse reporting policy, but a new policy is a child sexual abuse prevention and response policy. This is in response to LD 1180. And we'll be talking more about that one. Currently, the RSU 14 has no field trip policy. Both districts, prior to consolidation, had field trip policies, but there's been some discussion that with liability and information forms, etc., that we need to really take a look at not only the day trips, but the overnight trips and the foreign trips. So, but we're going to have further discussions about that. So that's it so far.
March?
We did. We finally, at the technical schools, we had our first meeting. And I sent the minutes out, but I'll give you the highlights for whoever's watching. At WRVC, Westbrook Regional Vocational School, they have 5 schools that's in there. They have 7 other students, which could be like 1 student from somewhere and 2 students at some alternative school sent. There was someone there who gave a presentation from the Great Schools Partnership on being on the goal and proficiency work and awarding credits. This is the one thing that both of these schools have been trying to get like forever. She said it's kind of like step 1. They're going to work on it, and it basically will not take the place of a course that you take. It'll enhance it. So your, say your math, you're taking algebra or whatever math there, and you might be taking carpentry. It's how much of that carpentry can you get credit for within the math course that you're taking. So it'll be similar like that. It won't apply to all courses, but just the ones like probably math, probably science. But they're working on it. It's early on, but it's going in. That's going in the right direction. Let's see. There was some concern because the CDL program, and that's the commercial driver's license, is down. The numbers are down, which was surprising because there's trucks everywhere too, and they were really surprised at that. But a lot of these things, what's happened is it's an ebb and flow with some of the courses. Some things are very good sometimes, and then you have kids that come in like they're usually juniors and seniors, so it's Tech 1, Tech 2. If you had a big Tech 1, you'll definitely have hopefully a big Tech 2, but it might be smaller the next year, and so they have to wait. It's a year-to-year thing, and so far they've been able to keep the programs they have because they haven't gone below the low level. And I can't remember what they usually give us a count. Do you remember what is, Chris, of how many students they have to have? And I think it varies per whatever you're doing. Like for it would probably be different for carpentry than it would be for machining, because we know machining had an issue at PATHS a while back. At Westbrook, we have 60 students this year, which is a big jump from 41 that we had last year. So there are a lot more students going to Westbrook. And as everybody remembers, if you don't, Westbrook is our main school. That's our first choice for our students. They can only go to PATHS if Westbrook does not offer something that they're looking for. And they try not to replicate the same classes. They might be the same, but they'll be a little bit different. PATHS has, I thought it was 13, but when I did the count, it's like 15 schools that's in there full time, and they have approximately 8 students, again, that come from like, there's one from here, one from there, and they're pretty spread out. There we're down 4. We went from 28 students last year to 24 this year. No rhyme or reason for that. They do have a new program, cybersecurity. They will be implementing it in 2019, 2020. They're really excited about it because it's gotten a lot of good feedback. They've gotten the approval from MDOE to implement it, and they think it's going to be pretty popular with the kids. The thing they did look at was exploring another program, although I'm not sure how they would do this one, but there's been a lot of talk about teacher shortages. You know, is there possibly something they could put in place for that? And the thing, during the meeting, what did come up, and it was really funny because I thought it was the same thing, is anything we can do about bus drivers. You know, get somebody interested in bus drivers, bus driving, you know, at least as a step in, you know. The other thing that, and it was for both of them, and I brought it up, is that the Constitution and the bylaws and the live work policies at both schools really should be given back to all the school boards of the sending schools there, so you know, so everybody on the board besides me and whoever attends should know that. So once we get that, it'll get forwarded to everybody else. We'll make sure that everybody gets it. Right, Sandy? It'll probably come to you. And we didn't vote on it at this last meeting because of the change that happened up on the EPS, on the funding, this past year, when they moved the funding, that instead of coming for the Part 1, instead of coming from the towns, it's going to come from the state now. So they have to redo the whole bylaws of how we vote, how the voting and everything is done on that. The second part, which is the capital, will still remain the same as we've always done. And that's the one we get to vote on. The other one's kind of like a given. As long as we send the kids there, we just have to figure out how that's going to work. And I think that is it.
Okay, thank you.
And that's it.
Okay. I wanted to ask Mr. Prince to talk, and then Danielle, you have some dates you want to give us. When we do the board roundtable, we'll have you do that. Mr. Prince?
So I have to tell you, I had the most amazing Friday night last week. It was the JMG Jobs for Maine Graduates 25th anniversary up at the Augusta Civic Center. I've been to a lot of things in my career, but I have to say this is probably one of the ones that are way up there at the top. It was just amazing to hear the stories from the students who are really struggling, particularly in high school, and how JMG really got them to start thinking about there's something beyond high school, such as a career, and to have mentors out in the field to really work with these students. The stories were amazing. There's one particular girl that really struggled in high school. People made fun of her, called her bad things, and she just talked about her mentor and how that business really changed her life. And so articulate, so well spoken, and so successful. And the whole night was like that. And the other cool piece with all of this, we had the last 4 or 5 governors, and bipartisan, all of them spoke, and just their hearts are so behind this work. And you don't often see that today. And it was just a phenomenal evening.
That's great.
I think JMG has come before you, the high school program particularly, and now with middle school, Drew was able to finagle that this year, so hopefully we can keep growing and get one up in Raymond Middle School. I think that'd be really good, and again, it was just a phenomenal night. Chris is on the board of JMG, so he's a big wig, and he and his wife and my wife sat at the same table, and it was just a great time.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Ask a question. Okay. The JMG program, is that available to all the schools in Maine? I mean, how many of them are participating in that?
Sure. There's 110 programs across the state of Maine. Some are in high schools and some are in middle schools. And really, it's a matter of what funding's available. Part of JMG's funding is through the legislature. We actually get an appropriation. I should say the organization. I feel like we, because I have an opportunity to serve on that board. And then also we receive private monies. One of the other exciting things that Sandy didn't share is the Alphon Foundation gave $3 million to JMG Friday night with an additional $1.5 million for a match program, which Unum quickly gave $500,000 towards that $1.5 million match to really help for those times that all of us are aware of where legislative appropriations haven't always been what they have been. There was additional monies appropriated through the legislature this past legislative session, which allowed for 25 middle school programs to open up. And Wyndham Middle School, who's been on a list now for a number of years, was actually picked through that grant program to have a program, which, if I remember correctly, for the first 3 years isn't actually going to cost us anything. The one at the high school, the JMG program, we pay $25,000 towards that program, and JMG picks up the rest. Those individuals are JMG employees. And additionally, for our college and career specialist that operates at Wyndham High School, that's a MELMAC JMG RSU 14 combination grant. And again, we spent about $25,000, but getting far more in benefits from that. So it's exciting to see this year. They're looking to continue to expand programs, but what was also exciting to hear the other night, they've served 50,000 students across the state of Maine over the course of the time that JMG has been in place. And for many students, it has been a great opportunity for mentorships as well as learning some really important life skills, such as looking somebody in the eye and learning how to shake a hand, write a resume, and how to present yourself well and get yourself engaged in the community. So it's an organization that's been beneficial to RSU 14, but also has been beneficial to a number of individuals. So echo Sandy's sentiments. It was a great night.
Thank you. Well, we're going to have board roundtable now, and I would like to start by introducing Danielle Hall. I know we met her, but I'd like to thank you for being our student representative. And could you tell us some things? Is your mic on?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
All right, so we have some dates here that you guys can come, you come and see presentations made by the students of different classes, the science, English, all those presentations. So I want to hear your feedback on whether you'd like lunch, breakfast, or a combination of both of those. And also the dates are November 20th, December 11th, January 15th.
Did you talk slower?
Yep.
Sorry, go back to December.
All right, December 11th.
Thank you.
January 15th, February 12th, March 12th, April 16th, and May 14th. And those are all, I think, the third Tuesday of the month.
Okay.
And those are all going to be around 10:30, 11-ish.
Okay. Well, thanks.
I can do that.
We've had both, and how about if we stick with lunches this year, unless we hear differently, because that seems that nobody else can come.
I have a better chance of making a breakfast.
Okay.
Me too.
I can't make breakfast. I
Okay.
pack those days.
Okay.
So would it be possible if, maybe we just go ahead and ask for a couple of dates as breakfast, and then you just send out
Okay.
the invite and say, this is when breakfast is.
And if,
You can make it great. If you can't,
Yeah.
What if we alternate?
well, we tried alternating last year, and
that's
then
right.
we weren't successful. I guess we can trying alternating again, and then we'll see how that works. Is that okay with you? So shall we have the first one let's do the first one a lunch, and then the second one in December a breakfast. Does that sound good?
All right.
So December the 11th will be a breakfast.
When you say breakfast, what time are we talking?
Yeah, what time?
4:45, 5
That actually would be really nice if you were serious.
Actually,
not.
very good chance of making that.
Okay, so what time do people arrive?
For the time that I've been given is period 5, which is going to be around 10:30.
That would be breakfast?
No, breakfast
Early.
before and it was only like, was it a half hour? It wasn't long. It was very short. It was
Right.
cut between when the bus got there and the first class.
Right.
And yeah, so it was
So-
not long.
So just to clarify, are you, did they say 10:30, like 10:30, 11 is our time frame? And they just kind of want to know,
Period
I'm not
5.
are we
Yeah.
calling it breakfast or lunch? Is that the
That
question?
is lunch.
I think so.
Okay.
That's
If I can help you out here, Danielle, that was during that fifth period lunchtime.
Yeah.
So typically it started around 10:19-ish and then ran till whenever lunch ended. So ran all 3 periods. So though it does seem like breakfast, it is the start of first lunch
Yeah.
on, are you going Tuesdays or Thursdays?
Tuesdays.
Okay, so Tuesdays would be, 10:42 I think would be lunch.
So whether
so.
we call it lunch or whether we call it breakfast, it's not the same.
How about brunch?
Is it 10:20 to 10:42 or 10:42?
We'll get you the correct times out, but it's right around 10:40.
Oh,
And if we were to do a breakfast, what do you have a time when that would be, or?
I don't have a time. I've only been given the lunch
Okay.
time, but I can
Well, then we'll do the first one for as a lunch, and then we will try to nail down. I got these dates too, and I could correspond. Okay.
So does that go until, what time did you say? Like, can you show up at 12:15 and then?
Not if you want to
all
talk
by
to anybody.
yourself. All alone.
Okay.
Okay. Do you have anything for the board roundtable?
I do. I actually have a question. When we had our retreat and we came up with school board topics for our 2018-19, I know we gave it to Sandy, but are we ever going to hear about it?
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
we gave it to him, but we never.
But they are on our plan.
Thank you.
Okay.
I don't have anything. Thank you. I have a question as well.
Yeah.
We had talked briefly about the recess policy, like there's a policy for 2 recesses. Are we going to be discussing that any further? Because I've talked to a few folks in Raymond that have confirmed that it's not.
We don't have a policy on this.
We had a discussion.
On the wellness. There's a wellness policy. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm not hallucinating that we talked something about 2 recesses. Did I like have a blackout moment in one of our school board meetings?
No.
Like I created
We did
this?
talk about recess,
Okay.
for sure.
I really feel like I read or we talked about it was supposed to be 2 recesses. 'Cause
Elementary
he had said,
school.
yeah, the elementary.
elementary
The
school.
policy,
The wellness policy.
it does state the number of recesses. I think it is 2.
Okay. Well, I'm feeling really good because I thought
Yeah.
for a second I was
No.
seriously. I just would like to be able to revisit that because I am hearing that we may have
Okay.
this in place and maybe it's not being
Okay. Well, we talked about it, and that's definitely on the
beautiful.
in the planning
we could
stages.
trust you guys.
I think the only thing that I want to mention is the school website seems to be working out real well. I don't know what the feedback is from the webmaster. I personally like it. I've had to use it several times, not only for contact information, but its ease and just reporting an absence or a tardy or something like that, checking out the schedules. I really do like it. I would say probably my biggest criticism of it would probably actually be on the board section. I find it a little bit more difficult to search for specific policies.
That's
It has been changed.
Yeah.
All right, then I have nothing.
It's really good too.
Because we agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's listed
All right.
by letter with just the title and name.
I
Alphabetically.
hadn't actually, because I got onto the board section, but I hadn't clicked on the policy section today, so I probably should have done
Well, it's just recent,
Yeah.
so you're not.
that. Okay. All right. Well, perfect. Thank you very much.
John?
And on that, I had nothing, but I really like being able to go to athletics, middle school or high school, and find the information of that game time, field, and all of that.
That's great. That's great. Oh, no.
No, I just want to make sure I'm being heard. So if you're a fan of the arts, there's a couple of exciting things coming up in the future. AmFam tickets went on sale Monday. For those of you that don't know, the AmFam is short for the American Family Holiday put on by the Wyndham Chamber Singers. So there's going to be 2 performances on December 1st, one at 7:30 p.m. and there's an afternoon show at 2 p.m. Tickets were going fast on Monday, so I don't know how much, if any, are left. But if you want to go, check out the Chamber Singers website to purchase those. And the middle school had their auditions for the middle school play, and there's 95 students.
Wow.
That turned out to either be in the cast or be part of the tech crew. So I think they ended up with a cast of 75 students, which is going to be a double cast. Last year they did Into the Woods, which was an amazing production. And this year they're going to be doing Beauty and the Beast. And so that's going to be taking place in January. So I don't know the dates on that, but put that on your calendar or something to attend. They really do a nice job. It's not your traditional, elementary or middle school play. They really go all out. So looking forward to both of those productions.
I think this is the first year they've had a waiting list. They've had to take kids and put them on a waiting list to see if anybody dropped out. They've always been able to use like everybody.
That's great.
Very popular.
Okay. Could I have a motion to adjourn, please?
So moved.
Second.
Does Sandy have any board roundtable?
The only thing
I'm
I
sorry.
can save it for another time.
No, that's okay. Go ahead. I thought you had given it when you were.
Yeah, it has to do with budget. Just quickly, as I think about the budget for 2018, putting the timeline together, I think what I'd like to do is show the board this year, just to kind of have some boundaries, is show you what a 2% budget will be, what a 2.5% will be, and then what a 3% budget. And then you can get the scope of what is involved with a 2% versus a 3% budget. Sometimes we walked in here at 5%. It's just like too hard to get your arms around. It's too high of a percentage. So we thought that we would show you a 2, 2.5, and a 3%.
How about a 0? Just a thought.
The problem,
People will ask that. It's kind of like, well, what happens if you don't?
we've done that before. It's huge reductions, and it can get a lot of excitement in the community. Even though I don't think you would really go with a 0% budget, it's significant reductions. And so
I think it would just be nice for the public to realize that. You know what I mean? To see it. It's kind of like, oh, by the way, because they're always saying, it's kind of like, oh, take it out of wherever.
It
was just a
the
thought.
amount of money that would be, but we not drill down
Yeah.
to specific positions.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Anybody else have a board roundtable? Mr. Howell?
I'll add one. I just want to add one piece, and it's something that you may hear. We've been struggling over the past couple of weeks with the high school heating system, and for the high school students that are out there, I know the math wing has been cold. We've been struggling with some heat distribution pipes that were put in at the time of construction. Because of their size and because of occupancy, they couldn't be welded, and so there was a specific type of fitting that was used, and we're seeing a few fitting failures in some of our main trunks, which has then forced the heating system to be drained. It will be back up and running hopefully Friday. We have the one fitting that failed coming in to be repaired on Friday, and then hopefully some additional ones as a preemptive maintenance thing over the weekend. But yes, we do know that it's been cold, and feel for our high school students. Math wing was a little cold today, but temperatures are warming up and the issue is being addressed. But I know it's an issue of concern for some of our high school population, and it's being worked on as fast as it can.
Thank you.
So does this have any direct correlation with the boiler?
Nothing whatsoever.
Okay.
Think of it as a rubber O-ring
Mhm.
on a fitting that was used, and what has been explained to me is that the building was occupied during construction. Normally, a fitting of that size would have been welded, but you can't weld because of the fumes and I think it's called a Vitalic fitting, but it's a rubber gasket that's covered with a big metal covering that compresses it down and clamps. And we're starting to see some failures in a few of them. And unfortunately, they've been buried in ductwork and some other things. So Danielle's probably noticed in the middle of the high school cafeteria, there's a little section where the ceiling is out. That's what they're working on there. And for those of you who came in the main entrance or the grand staircase of the high school, the ceiling's got a hole in it. That was to address, again, one of those fittings. And they're on the large type. Fortunately, the runs that run down all the classroom are a different type of pipe. They go to a smaller size, which are actually a screw-in type. So they're working on it. So we're going to get you warm here before cold weather sets in.
Thank you.
Can I ask him one thing, please?
Okay.
Thank you. Speaking of the high school, the pep rally was canceled Friday. Of course, no power. Has it been rescheduled? I keep hearing all these different things.
I have something.
There you go.
I talked to Mr. Karen, and he gave us two options to have it this week, or we could have a whole other week in like the spring or the winter. And I talked to my senior class office, and all the people that I talked to, we want to have a whole other week in the winter or the spring. It's looking like the week leading up to February break, but nothing's been confirmed yet. So.
That's great. Thanks for the information. Okay. No one else has anything.
I move to adjourn.
My lips to see a second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. We are adjourned.